So good morning. I'm Rupert Calm-Seymour from R3Nc Consulting, and I have the pleasure of talking to Sandra Johnson this morning on the topic of sustainability and the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. Sandra is one of two directors for 4Eco in the UK. So good morning, Sandra. How are you?
Yes, good morning, Ru. Fine, thank you.
Good. Well, good to talk to you this morning. Just starting on the conversation, could you give me a wee bit of background, sort of the key founding principles and reasons for establishing 4Eco in the UK and introducing the Biofase portfolio?
Yes, of course. Like every good story in Mexico starts with a party. And we started noticing, my friends, my husband and myself, that people were starting to choose the environmental options in terms of, when they go out on a picnic or where they have a party and there's, one of those very popular cars where they have food, casual food. So we noticed that, and coincidentally, a few days later, I received, I saw a video on Facebook of the World Economic Forum about Biofase and the innovation of utilizing avocado stones in Mexico and producing biodegradable cutlery and straws. So I thought it was very interesting. And so I thought, well, something like that would do really well in the UK, would be interesting, because there was nothing like that in this market. So I contacted Claire Calo, my friend, who is now business partner as well. And Claire's background is in marketing and advertising. I'm an accountant. And so I thought, well, it'd be a good combination if we were to commercialize the product in the UK. So we got in touch with Biofase in Mexico, went to meet them personally at the factory, saw the product, what a great thing it was, and how it worked so well in places like the US and other countries. But there was nothing in Europe at the time. This was over 2 years ago now. And so we had a long chat, and after a few negotiations, we decided to become their exclusive distributors in the UK.
Fascinating. So the products, so there's cutlery and straws, and they're made from avocado seed, is that correct?
That's right, yes. So Mexico, being the biggest producer of avocados in the world, used to discard all these stones, thousands of tons a month. And this clever man, Scott Munguia, noticed that surplus, as they call it, agro-industrial surplus, and he thought, well, this got great properties, let me experiment with it. And after a lot of testing and playing with it, he came up with this biopolymer, and that it's a plastic, really, because the word plastic, I refer to it as fossil fuel, but it's not. It's the join of products, and he came up with this fantastic product that biodegrades, but it's unlike the products that need a process like recycling or composting. This one doesn't. You just throw it away, and the environment does the rest.
Yeah. So the products are biodegradable. So you're supporting the environment. Obviously, there's a big cue on sustainability, and I mean, in Mexico, is that something that's very prevalent across hospitality sectors or the like?
Yes. Having been to the factory and obviously noticing the product, I started seeing it everywhere, and in restaurants, bars and cafes in Mexico, and how people prefer them to other options. And well, I spoke to many people, and they say, well, they are the most environmental solution at the moment. There's no perfect solution to the plastic problem, but it's a combination of solutions, and this is one of them, and probably one of the best, because it has the lowest carbon footprint by reutilizing something that used to be waste. We don't have to grow crops, we don't have to grow trees. We use something that used to be wasted, helping to this very very important concept of circular economy.
And I suppose second life, because the avocado seeds that would have been put into landfill or got rid of, so to speak, are now being used, as a product. That's fascinating.
That's right. Yes.
So all going well. You're in the UK. You're growing your business with Claire. In March, pandemic hits, coronavirus
Yes.
is all over the world, global pandemic. How's that affected the business?
Well, hugely. I mean, it's obviously behind the hospitality sector, everything went to standstill in March, but it's starting to come back gradually as obviously start reopening and people are starting to go out a bit more. But mainly, we've seen a huge using products that are environmental, like ours. Yeah. And I think people have become more conscious of the environment and they want to use something that is safe, like our product, because, you know, it unfortunately, coronavirus metal up to 72 hours, whereas obviously us being disposable, but not harming the environment. People tend to like that. So we've seen quite a lot of interest, much more than we had before. So yeah, there's always a silver lining.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think those sort of environmental cues. I mean, there's so many companies and businesses now that have policies around corporate social responsibility, about environmental matters. So I think there's a really great opportunity to align the Biofase products with those companies, especially within hospitality. I think the current challenges with consumer confidence about what that experience will be, whether it's drinks or food, is a real challenge.
That's right.
Yeah. So any plans now for the rest of the year? Any big launches or new product? Or?
Well, yes, actually, we are expanding our range.
Okay.
The business in Mexico has expanded their offer, and they're growing their catalog. They're going to launch a few new products in the next couple of months once things start to reactivate and when businesses go back to normal. But yes, there is obviously an expansion, and they just finished a new factory in the north of Mexico, quite a big one. So their capacity is bigger and also offering a much better price. And so yes, there's great plans for Biofase and for us, obviously, as for Eco and their exclusive distributors in the UK.
Yeah, brilliant, good, excellent. Well, Sandra, it's been brilliant to talk to you. Thank you for sharing your insight into 4Eco. I think the sustainability piece is so important to consumers and to businesses in the UK. So they're really interesting. Any final thoughts before we close this off?
Well, that we really have to think of what are the choices that we make. And unfortunately, with this pandemic, there's been a rise in usage of fossil fuel. 8 million tons being thrown away in plastic every year and growing. So I think, well, that are there. So people should always think, well, I may pay a little bit more for this, but the benefit to the environment is big. I think people should think twice and try to choose.
Yeah, definitely. Good. Well, Sandra, really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for your time. I'd also like to thank to our sponsor, Lisa Bullen, and Social Media Sussex for their support. Sandra, have a great afternoon and we'll catch up soon.
Thanks, Ruth. Have a good afternoon.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.